What is going on, guys? My name is Sena and welcome back to another video. If you watched my last video, you would know that I asked you guys to email me your VOD so I can pick one for this video to VOD review. In this video, I'm going to be looking at a VOD of a gold Viper main and showing you guys some mistakes that they make and how you can improve off of it. This VOD is provided by a viewer named Jasmine, and I will have a link to whatever platform she wants linked down in the description below. Right before we get into this video though, guys, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came out to my Twitch stream yesterday. There was a lot of people there and we had a lot of fun, so make sure that you go follow my Twitch. Link will be down in the description below. If you do find this video helpful in any way, don't forget to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Anyways, with the intro out of the way, let's get straight into the VOD review. The first thing that I noticed about this VOD is that she's 5-stacking with a group of friends. 5-stacking is kind of a double-edged sword because on one hand, you know everyone that you're playing with and you have good communication with them. On the other hand though, Riot likes to pair 5-stacks against other 5-stacks, and a lot of the time in those groups, there is typically someone who is smurfing. Now, my opinion on smurfs is probably a lot different from the people in the lower ranks because for me personally, I think smurfs are a great opportunity to play against harder players, and they really helped me get better at the game, and I'm actually thankful that I went up against smurfs when I was trying to rank up. So if you are going to 5-stack, please be aware of this. One minor thing that I wanted to mention is that I can see at the start of the round, she uses /all to talk in all chat. If you guys didn't already know, you can hold shift and press enter to automatically put yourself in all chat. I used to do it the same way with the /all, but this way is just so much easier. That's not really important though, it's just something that I noticed. The first thing that I want to talk about is this buy that Jasmine is on for pistol round. She decides to buy full utility and no shield. In my opinion, I think that the shield is more valuable in this situation, and especially on pistol round. On pistol round, one bullet can be the difference between you winning the round and losing it. Being able to tank 1 or 2 extra bullets could make the difference of you winning the round. So if this is me playing here, I'm buying armor and forgetting the orb. Next up, I want to talk about this 5-man A push that they're doing on pistol round here. The first thing I noticed is that Reyna is really trying to take as much space as she possibly can. As you can see here, Reyna pushed up all the way through maze and is already taking a fight on nest while the entire rest of the team is still being held up A main. I'm not sure why, but Jasmine is kind of stalling here, kind of pointing her crosshair at random stuff and shooting this molly off of generator. I think that if she pushed around the right side here and helped pinch the people in nest with Reyna, they would have been able to clear the site and push it very quickly. But instead, she decides to linger in this kind of A main area and then rotate. Someone calls for a rotate here, and I believe it was Jet because of this pick that she gets on flank, and there is another person pushing flank. The whole team decides to rotate and clear these flankers and push onto B site. Reyna also got a pick on A, so that is really good because most of the people who are playing on B will probably be rotated off by now. The first big mistake I realized is when they're rotating here. Jasmine is kind of leading the push here onto B site, and she's just kind of running through these angles swinging her knife. When you're running through B main here, you want to clear all of these spots because you never know if someone could still be there. If she got unlucky enough, there could have been someone camping in one of these cubbies and killing her super easily because of her knife. I know the Sovereign Sword looks really cool and it's also one of my favorite knives, but you got to make sure that when you're clearing site like this, you always have your gun out. You need your gun out at all times when you're clearing angles like this. Another thing that I want to mention is after she runs through B main with her knife out, she swings out into sight with her smoke orb in hand. This leads to her exposing herself to so many different angles with nothing to defend herself with besides Jet in front of her. There could have been someone snowman, behind yellow, top sight, literally anywhere there could have been someone, and she would have been able to do nothing about it. Not only this, but because she doesn't have shield, she would die here in only a couple shots and it would be a very easy kill. Luckily though, the site is clear and they're able to take it pretty easily. The next mistake that I want to mention is while they're taking and pushing site, she's kind of staying back and not really helping. As you can see here, Sage is pushing to plant, Jet is pushing into orange to take a fight, and Sky is holding top site. While all of this is going on, Jasmine is kind of just chilling out behind everyone with her crosshair on the floor and kind of doing whatever. Throughout this entire VOD, she doesn't really seem like she has a plan, and she's kind of reacting to plays rather than making them. If this is me in this situation, I'm wrapping behind yellow and helping back up my Sky or Jet in a fight. I understand though that it's a 5v2, and she probably thought that the round was already in the bag, so she could take it a little bit easy. In the higher ranks though, this type of thing won't really fly, and she needs to help back her team up because that 5v2 can very quickly turn into a 1v2. Reyna ends up killing the person flank, and Jet ends up pushing orange and cleaning that up, so all in all, a pretty clean round by the team. That was a really good call by whoever said to rotate. They were able to take B super easily. One thing that I do want to mention is that Jasmine used her util very well during this round. I know I mentioned at the start of the round that I don't really like it when people buy full util, but Jasmine actually made use of all of that util, and I can understand why she buys it now. That orb was super helpful for post plant because most times on pistol round, Vipers don't have that. She also used that molly to block kitchen even though it was a little bit late. All in all, a great use of util on this pistol round. Things that I want to see her fix for the future is make sure that you're fighting with your team on site and not staying and lollygagging around. Never soft clear angles with your knife out. Make sure you have your gun out at all times. And also make sure to never swing angles with util out. Always have your gun at the ready. That's it for the pistol round. Now let's talk about a gun round. This next round, they all have guns and they are trying to do another 5-man A push. Sky starts to dog through and dogs all the way through maze into back sight. What I noticed is that Reyna is pushing up and getting a lot of space with this dog, while yet again the rest of the team is kind of lingering behind. I see that Jasmine has kind of a bad habit of not really pushing into sight and just kind of staying back in A main. If I had to guess, I think this is because she knows that her util is very valuable and she needs to stay back to play mollies. While I understand this thought process, I think that it's really important to help your team take sight. Reyna ends up solo pushing back sight with no one to help her, and she ends up killing one and getting instantly traded. This is really unfortunate and sad to see because if Jasmine or someone else pushed up with her to help her take that fight, they could have gotten the trade on the guy that killed her and they could have been in a man advantage situation here. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen and the rest of the team is still just caught up in maze. Jasmine ends up getting herself in a 1v4 situation and ends up killing Reyna and then doing a Call of Duty reload, which ends up getting her killed. This is a really bad habit that even I used to have, and you really need to get rid of this habit if you want to see improvement. If you don't already know, Call of Duty reloading is where you reload immediately after getting one kill. As you can see here, she kills the Reyna and then turns around to reload and gets swung by another person. Had she not reloaded there and had her gun out and ready to take another fight, she could have easily clutched this round. If this is me in this situation, after I kill that Reyna, I'm pushing up behind 410 to get a better angle to isolate another 1v1. What I would have liked to see Jasmine do is something like this. If she peeked the left side of 410, she would have isolated the 1v1 against Jet. Assuming she kills Jet here, she would have definitely heard the guy flanking so that she could re-swing around the right side of 410 and kill the flanker. After that, it's a 1v1 against her and Sova while Sova has an op. She would have had full util in this 1v1 and could have used the orb to create space and also could have wide swung Sova because after he misses that op shot, he's pretty much dead. This was a 1v4 that was definitely winnable, but she ruined by just reloading at the wrong time. So remember guys, do not reload after one kill. 19 bullets is plenty. I think the reason why she did this is because of that spray on Reyna. I think that she thought that she used more bullets than she really did. She also probably got nervous because of the 1vx situation, but that's also something that I feel like a lot of low elo players need to learn how to handle. The biggest difference between low elo players and high elo players is their confidence in 1vx. A 1vx or a clutch situation is where it's a 1 versus something. 1v5s are winnable and you need to have confidence in order to win them. Moving on from this, the next round I want to talk about is the third round on defense. Throughout pretty much the entire CT half of this game, Jasmine is pretty much just solo holding B on her own. What I see her do every round is put up her Viper wall and then play in this cubby here. I just want to say that this spot is really bad and I would never recommend playing this spot under any circumstance. This spot is incredibly easy to clear for the attackers and they will see you before you can see them. This is because the way that distance from angles works in Valorant and the way that Peeker's advantage works. They end up not pushing B and actually pushing A, so she pushes up to grab the orb. This is one thing that I think she does really well, is she goes for this orb every round to farm her ult. The Viper ult is incredibly useful and I can tell that she knows that. The Viper ult can make the difference to win a round, so it's nice to see her going for this orb when she can. One mistake that I do see here though is that after she grabs this orb, she always rotates through CT instead of pushing the flank. I don't think she pushed the flank once in this entire game when they have no agents that can actually put any util to hold it. Chances are their entire flank is completely open and Jasmine is showing no presence there at all. Even if she doesn't commit to this flank, at least showing presence or having someone see her would create that idea in the back of their head that someone might be flanking. This round would be especially good to flank on because they're already on bad guns anyway, so they can go for risky plays because chances are they're gonna lose the round anyways. She ends up rotating through CT and getting to site when it's a 5v2. Now Jasmine and Sage need to retake a site with Spectres and this is very unfavorable for them. One thing that I want to mention is that when she peeks CT here, she kind of swings wide and exposes herself to 3 different angles. You want to make sure that in Valorant you are exposing yourself to only one person at a time and trying to isolate 1v1s. She ends up swinging this angle, seeing 2 people and exchanging a little bit of chip damage with Reyna. This chip damage was very much so not in her favor though, because she received a lot more than she delivered. I understand that this is a 2v5 and she had a Spectre, so I'm not really going to nag about this one too much, but it's just something to think about. Had she pushed the flank there, she might have been able to get 1 or maybe 2 and make that round a little bit more winnable. There could have been one who was staying back on top of Bell and wasn't really paying attention and she could have killed them and gotten a free rifle. Just make sure you think about that kind of stuff when you're playing a site and they don't push you. Moving on from that round, the very next round, they all have guns and it's a rifle versus rifle round. Again, she goes and plays in this terrible cubby on B. Luckily though, they don't go there and she rotates through CT again. I have the same complaint as last round. Pushing the flank here could have definitely made a big impact on this round. Again, she rotates through CT and goes to check mid and gets kind of caught up. She checks mid, sees that nobody's there and goes back to A, but she kind of just stays in this connector area, not really sure what to do. Her crosshair is aiming at nothing for the majority of this round and she's kind of just indecisive of what she wants to do. If this is me in this situation, I'm going mid and pushing through to contain the enemy team. Containing is when you have a line of sight on their exit. When containing a team, you don't necessarily need to take a fight, but you're mostly just playing for information. If you see one cross back towards B, you can rotate and comment to your team, and you already have 3 on site to hold it down. This would have been way better, but instead you kind of just sit behind the screen with your crosshair pointed at nothing. She ends up deciding to stay A and help hold it down with her team, which isn't a bad idea, but I do think that watching the rotate would have been more beneficial here. You end up losing a teammate on the left side and they end up pushing further onto site. Viper ends up going on top nest and killing Sky, and it is now a 2v2 situation. I just want to mention that she hasn't moved at all during this entire ordeal, and I think that pushing up to get an angle to at least try to trade one of your teammates or help them fight would be beneficial. Sage ends up killing the Viper that swings her. They end up planting the bomb and Sage ends up killing the last guy. In the end, you guys end up taking the W on this round, but I really would have liked to see you go for more plays and make more impact in this round. You really didn't have much impact in this round and kind of stayed backside the entire time and let your team fight it out. I think that pushing the left side and doubling up with your Sage to try to trade her in case she died in that fight would have been more beneficial. Let's fast forward a couple rounds where she is playing B solo again and pushes up back to this same spot. This is a great example of why you shouldn't play this spot, because this Jet comes through with the classic Sena entry and hard clear and decimates you. I've showed you guys in multiple videos how I like to entry on Icebox, and I like to updraft on top of this white box and glide across to clear this right side. I do it so that I can clear people playing in spots like this. Jet basically got a free kill on you, and now you are giving your team a 4v5 for seemingly no reason. Instead of playing in that little cubby, I would recommend playing further back in a spot that you can quickly get out of. Playing further back and holding the long angle and throwing mollies at the people rushing in and fighting with your team would be much more beneficial. Jasmine and her team end up winning the game, and I do think that they have a lot of good team chemistry. This lineup that you guys are running is really good, especially for Icebox, and I feel like you guys all play your roles really well. My main advice for you specifically is to be more aggressive with your plays. A lot of the times I see from this VOD, your Reyna and Jett are entering on site, and I think that you need to be there to help back them up to trade them out. From what I can tell, your strong suit is your utility, and you seem like you have a good understanding of how Viper's util should be used. You're constantly using mollies to block off choke points and using your orb to cut off angles. I think you fulfill your role as a Viper really well and just need to step outside your comfort zone and help your team fight and be more aggressive. Another thing that you need to work on is your crosshair placement and your movement. Your movement is a little bit sluggish throughout this VOD, and also I see you flick a lot to people and don't really have your crosshair pre-aimed at the angle. If you get your aim to be more snappy and can better read where people are going to swing from, I can see that being paired with your utility usage really well. And there you guys have it. That is my first attempt at a VOD review. I hope that this video helps Jasmine improve her game and everyone else watching as well. Valorant is an extremely intricate game, and I cannot possibly go over every aspect of the game in one video, but I tried my best to cover as many things as possible. Let me know down in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video and want to see more VOD reviews like this. I got so many people sending me VOD reviews, so I could definitely turn this into a series if that's something that you guys want. I'd like to thank Jasmine for sending me this VOD, and I have the link to her social in the description below. If you did enjoy this video and found it useful, don't forget to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Make sure to follow me on Twitch for more streams coming soon. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.
I woke up feeling sad, so I went and blew a bag. I was feeling like gas, so I caught me some so wet. Spend this money, it helps me feel better. Spend this money, it helps me feel better. Fuck this money, really is whatever. Everything is temporary, sauce is forever.